I can't understand the actions of my master plan. I can't a nigga rebel in the thoughts of a day. I can't understand.
So welcome back, Vibe by Water TV shit. You should already know what it is. So listen, I'm going to get into a little review, you know what I mean? So this past weekend, on Friday to be exact, went to see The Weeknd in concert, Wembley Stadium, London, UK. Do you know what I mean? And 90,000, I think it was actually 87,000 to be exact. I feel like I saw somewhere that it might even have broke some sort of music record. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Weeknd, K-Tronada as well, opening for the weekend. And yeah, it was an amazing show. So they had actually been in the UK in July, I think it was, where they did London Stadium, which is actually West Ham's football ground. And that is 60,000, or maybe just over 60,000 capacity. And then this was the last show of the European leg of the After Hours Till Dawn tour. And yeah, I mean, it was an amazing show. Amazing show. Even the build up to it, you know, if any of you guys know Wembley Stadium, you know, you have the long walk that you do out of the Wembley Park Stadium. Sorry, Wembley Park station that's leading up to the ground. And obviously when you're doing that walk, there's just so many different characters that you're seeing, and everyone's all kind of, you know, moving in the same direction towards the stadium, and then the atmosphere is building. Certain people are wearing costume, you know, the red After Hours blazer I was seeing a few times. And then also, so the Weeknd's tour uniform, if you like, or whatever you might want to call it, attire. He's been wearing this kind of white jumpsuit. So I saw a few people who kind of had modeled their look after that. And then different variations of Abel over the years. So it's a really, even that was a sight to behold just on the way to the event. And then obviously you would see certain merch stands on the left or right when you're walking that pathway. And then as well as that, Box Park is just on that walkway as well. And I actually popped into I've actually popped into the Box Park, and all you could hear is the Weeknd going off through the sound waves, and it was just an amazing experience, even just on the lead up. In terms of getting into the stadium, it wasn't really that much of a problem. So I actually was in the north standing, so I had to go around the right hand side. I believe it was called the yellow section or something to that effect. And then pretty much no queues, ease of entry. Obviously it was a Ticketmaster event. As always, so you just scan it on your phone, and then straight in you go through the turnstiles. And then yeah, I remember as soon as I got in, so I might have arrived there around 7:20, or maybe even 7:30, in and around that time. And straight away, K-Tronada had already been spinning tunes, so you know, he was building the atmosphere. And then I obviously came down the stairs and straight into my vibe, you know what I mean?
Thank you. Peace.
Getting my dance on because I love a little bit of K-Tronada. Good vibe. So he was maybe on, from the point of where I arrived, he was maybe on for another 20-25 minutes. Just before 8, I feel like he had played his last tune and he was off the stage. So he maybe might have started maybe about 15 minutes or so before I had arrived there. So yeah, by 8 o'clock, they were doing the set changes, and you could see obviously they were starting to bring out more apparatus for the stage, and it was kind of blowing up some of the stage props, such as the giant moon that was there. This kind of disco lady type thingy that obviously we've been seeing around, associated with the Weeknd, that was already on the stage, so that was there the whole time. And then maybe just after, it's probably about 8:30 is when, you know, they started to play around with the bass, and you was hearing the little strums of the electric guitar and that, and it was kind of warming us to the fact of, you know, people who had seated tickets, get to your seats because things are going to start happening. then, yeah, as I say, maybe just after 8:30, that's when he eventually did come onto stage, and he came out to Take My Breath. That was the first song that he played, and then from there everyone was engaged and locked in, and obviously the lights were going, and it was just this whole entire vibe, and it was just, you know, the Weeknd, where he's currently at, he's very much a pop artist, so the characters and the people that you're seeing in the crowd is very, very diverse. Of course, you would have had some of his day one fans, some of his newer fans, maybe off the back of After Hours and Dawn FM there. And it was just a whole epic event, man. It was just crazy. So he started with Take My Breath, and then he started going through Dawn FM. A little bit of Gasoline he played, but he didn't really go through that. He also spun quite early on Sacrifice. I think Sacrifice actually may have came after Take My Breath. And then How Do I Make You Love Me he span. Out of Time then came pretty soon after that. And then he just started going through the tunes. We went off into Starboy, and then we also played, Die For You, which was a whole vibe. It was a whole thing. And then I Feel It Coming, and that was an amazing experience as well. And then he started playing more of the After Hours songs. I'm quite annoyed because I met these two very lovely girls in the crowd, and we were just having a good time and just rocking out, really just having an amazing time. It was kind of weird because it was almost like I had known them prior, and I really had just met them right then on the spot. So we built quite a good rapport. I was having a good time. But then, yeah, I had gone to get I went to the bar. And when I went to the bar, that's when he played Heartless. And Heartless is one of my favourite songs off of After Hours. So I could hear it, but I couldn't see the visuals. So I was kind of gutted about that. But then obviously when I came back into the stadium, then I think he may have been playing at that time Faith. I lost my faith. So that was great as well. And then obviously he went into more of these older tracks. Often he played, and then The Hills he also played. And then he started making, you know what? You see The Hills, yeah? Hey, when the flames started coming up, like out of the ground, you could literally feel it on your face. It was that hot. And we were so close to the stage, you could feel it literally on your face, like the heat that was coming from the pyro and from the flames. It was sensational in one aspect because like it really gave you a feel for like how hot this fucking flame actually is. But at the same time, it was like, wow, like when you're already kind of dancing, you're already hot, you're already in kind of like a crowded space, if you like, and then you're feeling a blast of flame like in your face. It was just a bit like, but that quickly changed because that's when the euphoria really stepped up a level because it's like the heavens opened up and then it started just coming down with rain. Luckily me, you know what I mean? I bought my rain jacket with me, so I was able to kind of mitigate that a little bit. But yeah, the rain started coming down, and then obviously in the strobe lights you could literally see the rain come. It almost was like an added effect because in the strobe lights you could see the detail of the rain, and it was just really, really crazy. It was actually epic, I can't lie. And then kind of he started going into the latter songs, Blinding Light, and then of course as soon as Blinding Light came on, it was like, you know, actually in fairness, he played Less Than Zero, which was also a good little, was a good spectacle. And then it kind of started to transition into Blinding Lights. And then Blinding Lights, of course, as soon as you heard it, dun, 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 everyone was locked in, and then the hands started going up in the air. And ahead of time, when we first got through the stadium, they gave us these like wristbands, these glow wristbands. So of course you could see all of the lights coming off of people's wrists, pause, and it just created this whole amazing 360 atmosphere around the whole stadium. And then rocked out to Blinding Lights. I think that goes without saying. That just was a crazy moment because everyone and their mama knows that song. And then shortly after that, it seemed like we was kind of questioning because we were like, oh, surely he's going to close with this. Like, what is there going to be left? But then he played some of the newer tracks. He played Popular, the track that he has with Playboi Carti and Madonna. And then he also played the I Don't Wanna Know, Mario Winans P. Diddy remake, Metro Boomin. So he spun that towards the end. He did do The Morning as well, actually. Let me not forget, off of House of Balloons. I believe that might have been the only song he may have done off of the House of Balloons. Did he do another one? I'm trying to think. I think that might have been the only one. So it was great to hear that, because that's actually probably is between that and Wicked Games. But I think I would give it to The Morning. That's my favourite song off of that particular mixtape. So that was really good to hear that as well. I think, man, like, show closed out around, I would say maybe 10:30, 11:45-ish. And then, as I say, the heavens had opened by that point, so it was just really kind of mad. Everyone just headed towards the exit. And if anyone knows about Wembley Stadium, if you've been to Wembley Stadium, getting out is just complete and utter chaos. So obviously they have like a human traffic light system, so they're letting certain people through and then locking it off, and then letting people through, locking it off. Obviously, for health and safety reasons, it makes perfect sense, obviously trying to get people onto the trains and into the train stations without people fucking, crushing each other. So I get it, but that just took a while. We was literally trying to get out for like, I think it was like plus an hour. It was like an hour and 5 or hour and 10 minutes, literally just getting from the stadium exit, so getting out of this stadium, and then just getting to the barricades or the barriers of Wembley Park Station, which really should be just on a normal day, if you like. That's not an event day. That's like a 10-minute walk, if that. But it easily took us an hour and 10, maybe even longer than that. But all in all, I would say it was a great show. Definitely amazing in terms of like the set piece and how they put it together. It was such a long stage as well. Of course, in terms of his performance, he was doing live vocals, which was great. He did obviously have some backing track here and there, which is understandable, but for the most part, he was doing live vocals. In terms of the set itself, aesthetically, it was amazing. They kind of had this like, it almost looked like some version of like Gotham City. I don't even know what you could call it, but it was just amazing. The detail of it, the live instrumentation, the electric guitar, and it was just a whole thing as well. You had these like women dressed in all white as well, who were kind of part of the set as well, who was going up and down the stage. That was really good as well. Obviously the pyro going off added effects to it, and then the strobe lightning, that was crazy. And then nature playing a role as well with the rain really added to it. The music itself, song choices. There was obviously a couple of songs that I feel like he could have done Reminder. I don't think I remember hearing that. And there's obviously a few songs that kind of maybe personal album cuts that really, maybe he could have done that he didn't do. I thought he might do Nothing Compares, which was obviously a bonus track off of After Hours, but we didn't quite hear that either. But yeah, I'm not mad at it. All in all, great show. I'd give it an 8 out of 10 easy. And yeah, man, I was happy to see The Weeknd. That was the first time I had ever seen him, and he solely and most definitely delivered. So yeah, man, it was definitely worth the entry price and more. I'll say that for sure. So yeah, this is Vibe by Water TV. You already know what it is. We're going to be back with more. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. As always, you already know the vibes. And we out. Bow.